Welcome to the Sankofa Pan-African series. Please sustain this channel by turning on your subscription and notification buttons. Thank you. The Wolof, also spelled Jolof starting with a D, or sometimes Jolof starting with a J, empire, was founded soon after 1200 AD, and between the 13th and 15th centuries, it had covered what is now inland Senegal. The Wolof state was ruled by a king with the title Berber, whose duties were both political and religious. During the 14th century, it began to develop satellite states such as the Kayo, I hope I'm pronouncing it properly, the Kayo, Nyumi, Badibu, Nyani, and Wuli. The political organization of the Wolof Empire can be compared to a confederacy. The Berber, the king, the Berber, was elected by a college of electors, which, as the empire began to spread, also included the rulers of the component states. Although these rulers paid annual tributes to the Berber, that is the king of the Wolofs, they were virtually autonomous. This system of administration ensured that vassal states under the Wolof kingdom could avoid electing a tyrant who would impose his will or on them or meddle with their internal affairs. Some scholars actually believe that this system of confederacy was one of the reasons for the economic prosperity of the Wolof Empire, because to a large extent, by recognizing the autonomy of component states, they were discouraged from revolting. However, this autonomy enjoyed by vassal states has also been identified as one of the reasons for the eventful decline of the Wolof Empire, because the satellite states in the coastal areas became more prosperous than the central authority, which rested with the Wolof. And this emboldened them to start breaking away. So it was like a catch-22 situation. Now, the River Gambia, this was so because the River Gambia offered a waterway for penetrating the interior. And this initially allowed the Wolof to control the coastal areas for a period of time, even though the core area covered by the Wolof themselves was a landlocked territory. Now, the empire, however, was able to take advantage of the satellite states under it to establish an impressive economic system. So, using a similar ploy as they did with other African empires and kingdoms, when the Portuguese first arrived in the Wolof Empire around 1440, they pretended that they came only to trade with the Wolof, who were initially drawn into trading partnership with them. And for a while, the Wolofs operated on an equal footing with the Portuguese and successfully fended off Portuguese attempts at infiltrating the empire. Again, sadly, The Wolof, like some other African kingdoms, also traded in slaves. Other than the odious trade in slaves, the Wolof also traded in gold and local cotton cloth, various textiles, copper rings and wares, cowries, as well as horses. As I indicated earlier, by the time that the Wolof was at the height of their power, the Boba, their king, was able to extend his authority over the Malinke states on the northern bank of the Gambia, including Yumi, Badibu, Nyani, and Wuli. The coast was a very important factor for Wolof's economic success, and it also provided the only means of transportation for the Portuguese traders when they arrived. In the 1480s, Bemoy emerged as the Boba who was ruling the empire at the time. He decided to move the seat of the government to the coast to take advantage of new economic opportunities offered by trading with the Portuguese. While this action by Bemoy was done primarily to benefit himself through trading with the Portuguese, the move precipitated the disintegration of the Wolof Empire. Other princes opposed his ploy and then rose against him and deposed him. Now, Bemoy then escaped and sought refuge with the Portuguese, who took him to Lisbon in Portugal. Faced with what they saw as an opportunity to put their ally, who also happened to be a Christian, on the throne, John II of Portugal sent an extraordinarily large force under a Portuguese commander to install Bemoy back on the throne of the Wolof Empire. The objective was to put Bemoy on the throne and create a fort at the bank of the Senegal River, through which Portugal would then gain the much desired access and control of trading in the empire. Neither of these goals were achieved, as Bemoy was killed after being charged with treason by his contemporaries. The failure of Portugal to forcefully reinstall Bemoy led to the disintegration of the Portuguese-Wolof trade relations. However, this only left room for another major predatory power, which quickly swooned in on the region: France. French traders brought with them items of trade such as French textile, gin, metal, and firearms. Trade with the French persisted even after the disintegration of the empire. It should be noted that the Wolof Empire was one of the African empires that, to a large extent, resisted foreign religions. Despite being introduced to Islam very early by Berber traders and clerics, the attempts to impose Islam as a state ideology failed. Most of the ordinary populations held fast to their traditional beliefs. This same resistance was put up against attempts by Portugal to impose Christianity, as indicated by their failure to have Bemoy reinstalled as a Boba. European traders and trading interests were a major factor in the decline of the Wolof Empire. The Europeans exploited the confederacy which the Wolof Empire practiced by deliberately weakening it through trading with the vassal states and making those states richer, thus paving the way for the subordinate states to break away. They kind of encourage the vassal states to break away from the Wolof Empire. The increasing emphasis placed by the Europeans, especially the Portuguese, on slave trade was also an important factor in weakening the empire. In order for Portugal to take hold of the port, they connived to disrupt and undermine the political authority of the empire. And they did this by inciting warfare, which led to an increase in the number of war captives that were now available for sale, for transportation to plantations in the New World. While Bemoise allowed himself to be so easily manipulated by the Portuguese, and thereby making room for the French to later exploit its weakened situation, it was all devastating for the Wolof Empire. This disruption of the political system, the political authority, soon then gave way for the breakaway of the state and the eventual disintegration of the empire. And in 1556, the nobles of Keyo, one of the vassal states, threw off Wolof domination and established an independent state of their own on the Senegal state. This action cut off Wolof's access to the sea and to the European trade. And its importance just continued to decline. Other satellite states soon followed, and the empire was just continued to grow weaker. Although the Wolof persisted, the kingdom did not wield as much influence as it had when it was an empire. Thank you very much for being a part of the Sankofa Pan-African series. Please continue to share your comments and questions with us. Also, please give us a thumbs up and share our videos with your contacts. See you next time.